The tricep. Le triceps. Der Trizeps.
三头肌
Trizeps.
Hello, welcome back to my channel. Here with me, Fitness with Seb. And as always, I'd ask you guys to do a couple of things just before we get started. And that of course would be to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and while you're there, hit the notifications bell so you guys know whenever my next videos are coming out, because the subscribe button on YouTube doesn't quite do what it used to. And if you do want to find out when my content is coming out, go ahead and hit that bell. Also, of course, if you want more from me, like other ideas for working out at home, like I just recently covered exercises for your chest that you could do, feel free to drop down into my description below and check out those hungry links that are waiting for your clicks. But anyway, let's go ahead, and today we are going to be looking at 5 excellent exercises that you guys can do at home that are going to be targeting your tricep. And that of course is here, your lovely humongous, chungus, madungus of a muscle. And we want to be working that out without any weights today, without any gym equipment, just stuff that you'll have lying around your house. So let's go ahead and start. So the first exercise that we're going to have a look at today is called the wall press. And it's quite simply, you're going to be leaning into the wall and then pressing yourself away from it. Of course, I'll demo it in just a second, but I want to talk you through the mechanics of it before we do. And basically, you'll be standing on one foot and you'll be using the opposite arm to push yourself from the wall. So for example, if you're standing on your left leg, you're going to be using your right arm to push yourself away. So it'll look a little bit like this, okay? So here's the wall and you're leaning into it and then pushing it away. And what you want to bear in mind is that you need to lift your hand slightly higher than your shoulder to allow your body mechanics into the wall. So you want that elbow to drop down right under the hand, not out to the side, but basically right into the hand, and then push yourself away from the wall by using the force of your tricep. So like I said, I'm going to go ahead and demo that with the wall itself so you guys really understand what I'm talking about. But you want to do one arm using the adjacent leg, and then of course you swap it over to use the other arm, and then of course the other leg as well. So let's go ahead and use the buff wall that I've got loaded up for us. There we go, we've done our first exercise, and now we're going to have a look at our second one, and that of course is our dips. And what you're going to need for this, it depends what you've got in the house really. I am going to go ahead and use my living room table, which has seen a lot of action over these last few weeks, especially here in quarantine. It's probably one of the most versatile things we have here in the house. But if you don't have a sturdy table, you can go ahead and use 2 chairs and have them side by side. Or if you've got steps outside, you can use them as well. Or maybe even your car, depending on its height and everything. But you can get a bit creative. And what you need at the end of the day is something that you can plant your 2 hands on. You can either have a straight grip like this. Look at my hands here. You can have a straight grip like that. Or you can turn your hands to the side and push yourself away from the object that way. But again, of course, I'll be demoing this for you guys. But again, I want to talk you through the mechanics just before we get started. Basically, the idea is that your arms are up behind your back and all the tension is already being felt in your triceps and a bit of your upper back as well. And you can see already, just even by placing your arms in that position, you're activating those muscles without even putting any force into it. But the idea is that you're going to put yourself like so. Obviously, you're hunkered down a little bit, and you're just going to be pushing yourself up and away from the object. And there you go. You actually see a little bit of movement there in the tricep. But imagine also that with your body weight, and I really can't stress this one enough. It's a great one to do. And if it's a bit easy for you, you can go ahead and grab a rucksack, put some milk cartons in that rucksack, have it around your front, and then you can put a little bit more resistance onto your body as you're doing it. But again, let's go ahead and have a look at it. So there we go, we've looked at our 2 exercises, and now our third one is going to require you to have a trusty bottle or a book or a milkshake, whatever you guys have lying around in the house, and this will act as our weight or our resistance. And this exercise is known as the bent over tricep extension, and it's basically, if you literally say that out loud, it's exactly what it says on the tin. We're going to be bending over and we're going to just be extending our arm out. So the real key thing to remember here is your elbow position, because you really want to activate as much as your tricep as possible. And the key here is to make sure that your starting position for that elbow is past your back. And what I mean with that is that you can start here and you can activate your tricep, that's fine. But if you just go ahead and activate it a little bit more and start with your elbow past your back and then extend your arm out, you're going to be placing a greater emphasis on your tricep. So throughout the whole activity, I want you just constantly thinking about where your elbow is and if it is indeed past your back, because that way you're going to be really activating all 3 of your tricep heads. So like always, I'll demo it and let's give it a go. Hope you guys enjoyed that last one. That bent over extension is probably one of my favorite ones because it really is intriguing and it does place that extra bit of emphasis whenever you're using your elbow in the right way. But let's move on to our 4th exercise today, and it's a variation of what we just did. Instead of doing a bent over tricep extension, now I want us to do the more common version of a seated tricep extension. And again, you need to grab yourself a lovely water bottle, milk carton, whatever you've got going on. You go ahead and grab that, and you're going to need to have something you can sit on. Well, technically you can do it standing as well, but I always prefer to do it seated, maybe just personal preference, but you can do this one seated or standing, but for the purpose of this video, we're going to do it seated. So I have, again, my trusty workbench or my literal living room table. And again, I'm just going to be sitting down on it, and I'm going to have the bottle behind my head, and all I want to do is extend my arm up, placing the emphasis going down the tricep. And of course, if you do it over in one arm, you want to bring it over and do it over onto the second arm, just like so. And again, one thing that you really want to pay attention for is what's going on with your elbow. So you don't want to flare out your elbow too much and lose control. Obviously, I'm exaggerating it quite a lot for this video, but you do want to have that elbow sort of nice and parallel to your head, and you just want to extend your arm out and bring that bottle back down to just behind your head, really feeling that tension going down. And of course, it goes without saying that the bigger the bottle is, so the bigger the volume that it can hold. So this bad boy is a lovely 2 liter, but for example, if you've got like a 5 liter, you know, those bigger like jugs of water that you can get, or 3 liters of milk, obviously the bigger the amount of volume in the container, the heavier the weight. So that's something that you can bear in mind. And if you haven't done these exercises before, then maybe you could start off with like a 500 milliliter bottle, then progress to a liter, a 1.5 a 1.5 litre, a 2 litre, and so on. Just again, the heavier you're making that weight for yourself, the more progression you're going to see. But of course, it's always a good place to start at the very start of the journey if you haven't done these before, and that of course is a-okay. But that was the seated tricep extension, and of course I'll demo it for you properly. So now we're going to be looking at our fifth and final exercise for today's video, and it is the skull crusher. It does have a couple of other names, but I like to call it a skull crusher because it sounds super intense. I mean, think about it. If you're talking to someone that doesn't really like go to the gym or really knows much about exercising or working out, and they're like, yo Seb, what are you doing today in the gym? Oh, well, you see, I'm just going to do like a bit of cardio and then end with some skull crushers. That dude is going to be like, what? So that's why I like to call them skull crushers. But let's keep this rolling, and of course I want to show you guys what a skull crusher is. And you're going to need to get yourself 2 bottles of water that are of course roughly, if not exactly the same weight, just to keep your balance, and a lovely table. Or you could use the floor as well, but again, I have this awesome table and I did put a cover on it just to make it that extra little bit of coziness, because I'm in the comfort of my own home. I think I can afford to be a little cozy while getting that sweat on, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, so we're gonna be just lying down on the bench, and this is gonna be quite hard actually to do it all. So I'll put these down just for a second. But I want you guys to picture that I'm still holding them, okay? And I'm lying down flat on the bench, and basically I'm lying down flat on the bench, and I'm just pushing the water bottles away from my face, really putting that tension going through the tricep. And of course, one thing you want to do is not actually crush your skull like the name might suggest, but it's a good guideline for obviously what the motion is. And you're bringing those water bottles down basically to your face level or your skull level, and then you're going to push it back away from you. So the movement that's it right there. But again, for you guys to get a better understanding of what the movements are, I'm going to go ahead, get down on my lovely cushioned living room table to show you guys. So let's give it a go. Well guys, that just about does it for this video with me here at Fitness with Seb. Today we had a look at our triceps. See if I get a nice shot, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, so we had a look at what tricep exercises you guys can do at home with no normal gym equipment, just things that you have in your house, like you've seen me carry my water bottles and using my living room table. So I hope you did enjoy it, and if you could be so kind and drop this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and while you're there, hit the notifications bell so you guys get a message right to your phone whenever I release new content. It'll be something like, ding, wow, Seb's got a new one out. But that'll only happen if you go ahead and hit that bell. Also, you can find me over on Instagram at Fitness with Seb, and you'll see what I'm getting up to there on a daily basis. I give shorter video tidbits about working out at home and just general advice about anything from nutrition and stuff that's going on. So go ahead and find me there at Fitness with Seb. And if you want more from me and these longer format videos, like I mentioned at the start, I've focused on a video recently that talks about chest exercises for you to do at home with, again, no gym equipment. And I really can't stress, I do those exercises myself and I really feel the burn. My favorite one in that video is called the bottle squeeze. And if you're thinking to yourself, what does that look like? Go ahead, do yourself a favor and then hit on that link below for the 5 exercises that you can do at home. But other videos that I've done are things like the Canadian military fitness test, the American military fitness test, my cheat meal, of course, I covered recently, and other things like the Victoria's Secret model ab workout. But anyway, guys, that's all waiting for you down below in the description if you are interested. But I want to say a big thanks for watching the video, being part of my community, and of course, guys, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.